Rise and shine, Wild Pack. It's Bernadette, aka Mama Bear, and I am back with your pick a card tarot reading, your daily pick a card tarot reading. And we are starting off brand new again on Monday, November 29th, 2021. Woo! Y'all! Woo! I cannot wait to show you what the card is for today and then tell you about the upcoming horoscopes for December, or tarot scopes or animal scopes. It's crazy stuff, so I'm going to jump right in. For those of you who don't know me, welcome. Thank you for joining the channel. I'm Bernadette King. I am the creator and publisher of the award-winning history-making Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck, which is what I read from here on my channel. My deck uses all of the, well, not uses really, but works with all of the amazing medicine and energy of the spirit, totem, and power animals, and then all of that is fused with the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot card archetypes, and the readings are just off the chart, mind-blowing, in-depth, and super kooky, crazy, accurate. And for those of you that have always been here with me through this journey of 2021, oh my gosh, I love you, and I'm so grateful for you every day in every way. You just, I don't even have any words. So, one of the things that I wanted to show you all today was that I have thrown together an Etsy store. You guys have been asking me about getting the altar cards and the magnets and the mugs. You want them in time for Christmas, and I'm still working on the new site that I have that is solely e-commerce, right? I'm still working on that. So the link to my Etsy store will be below. You can get all of these great, wonderful things. The Arc deck, the expansion pack, and the main deck, you can get all those. These magnets are super cool. The bee magnet, just super, super cool. Each animal has its own little saying on it. And then the altar cards have been a really big hit. And if you've supported my Kickstarter, this most recent Kickstarter for the new book, your orders start to go out today, or they do actually start, not true. They start to go out on Wednesday into the mail. We're starting to pack today and whatnot. The book is still delayed till after the first of the year, but all your swag that you've been picking, oh my gosh, can I tell you how many people love this Black Panther mug? They went cuckoo crazy. So, but now if you weren't part of the Kickstarter, you can get it here on my Etsy store. And so, again, if you're new to the channel and you are liking the free content that I produce here, horoscopes for the month, daily readings, free tutorials in all areas of metaphysics, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel and liking every video. It really helps my channel grow and get the word out there more. And the more we get metaphysics out there, the more the better off the world will be. So, jumping right in, let me just introduce the card of today is the Star card. Now, what's crazy is just yesterday I drew the cards for the monthly horoscopes, right, or the tarot scopes, and the Star card is the overall card for the month. And I thought, what are the mathematical odds of that? And of course, could not figure that out. But I was just like, okay, well, that when this card came to me today, I was like, all right, so Spirit really, really wants you all to know something. Now, in my deck, the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck, the Star card is the polar bear. So we're going to talk about the polar bear as a spirit, totem, and power animal, what it means for your daily pick a card reading, and we're going to talk a little bit about what I'm drawn to intuitively on the Star card. Now, for those of you just joining, this will be, obviously everything is new to you, but for my longtime subscribers, you'll notice what I'm going to do for the daily readings is way different than what I did before. But I have discovered after lots of polling people that it's really more in alignment with what is really going to be most helpful for you every day. And that is to make sure that in every daily reading, there's a section about love, there's a section about health, there's a section about career, about relationships, about money, because really those are the things that people want to know about, right? So, and also you'll notice, if you're new, this is all new to you, but for my longtime subscribers, I'm pulling up my websites to show you all the cards and the animals and how you can discover more information on your own, if you're called to learn more about the readings, and the cards and the animals. Ooh, sorry, I just bopped one of my cats in the face. Sorry, Georgie. Georgie the pirate is not pleased. So, again, the links to the specific articles on my site buildingbeautifulsouls.com, and then one of my other sites, whatismyspiritanimal.com. All of the access to that will be in the notes section below. So let me just jump right in there, and I'm going to take a sippy sip of water first, because already I y'all, it would make total sense, right? Why the star card would come out at this time of year, but certainly after just this week's news about everything, a new coronavirus scare, and so the stock market crashed. And for those of you that know me, you know I'm all up into cryptocurrency, and so the crypto market crashed, and it's right before Christmas, and uh, it's been a long, long year, right? So at first I was like, when this card came out for the overall card for the monthly horoscopes for December, I sat there for a minute like a dummy, and I thought, Spirit, really? Okay, don't you think this is going to be a little bit cheesy for people? Like, isn't there something a little more in depth, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. Who am I to question Spirit? What? So, again, if you don't know me, you don't know I have visions. For those of you that know me, you know I have visions. So, honest to goodness, when this card came up, because of course I pulled it from my deck, right? And the card looks like this in my deck. I watched that polar bear walk right out of that card and sit there and look at me like, don't make me be an actual bear. And then all of this sudden, this bear just lit up from the inside out. And eventually I couldn't see the bear. I could just see this crazy, amazing light. And I was like, oh, I get it. I'm so sorry. I get it. So let me explain you, right? Okay, as my ex-husband says, let me explain you. Okay. Oh, let me take a sip of water first, because this is just craziness, y'all. Okay. So as an overall meaning, once you get to my site, buildingbeautifulsouls.com, the star card, you'll see a really in-depth explanation, even divided into chapters here, about the star card and its meanings and what it means upright and overall and reversed. And then I've even got the zodiac signs that are corresponding to it. And then down here, the metaphysical correspondences and the numerology of it. So whereas one part of the star card or even the polar bear might not resonate with you today, there might be something else that you go, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, that's the craziest, most, oh my gosh, right? And it just answers whatever question that you had for today. So I just kept being drawn to the word hope, the word hope, the word hope. And what I realized is, well, okay, I didn't realize it. I just stopped being Bernadette all up in my ego, and I really listened to what was being told to me. And I just thought, hope has truly become, in many ways, a buzzword that we just say, like, have a good day, whether we mean it or not. Whether we say, how are you today, whether we mean it or not. And words are so powerful because they're always associated. They're said with some kind of emotion, whether it's the flatline emotion, or it's some other where in the range of emotions, all the way from ecstasy to rage or whatever. When we say, I hope so, what does that really mean? And when you say, I hope, I often say on my channel, well, if you can turn hope from I wish, I hope, I need, I want, I dream, into I choose, well, now you've got some stuff to work with. Because if you hope for something, it's outside of you. You're hoping that an outside source will bring things to you, right? If you're lucky, if you're good, if you're this, if you're that, if you've accumulated enough karma points. But the outside of you is you, and the outside is your whole inside. You're not separate from the universe. Hence, you are not separate from stars. You are the star. You are the universe. So when you say, I hope, you might even be like wishing on a star, right? I I it would be helpful, I believe, if you would just stop for a minute and before you say I hope, just say I choose. Because whatever you're hoping for to come from the outside in, you're going to bring it. You are going to be the bringer of that. So instead of waiting around for part of you or your higher self, or, and I know this is a little bit existential, but instead of waiting around for that part of you that may or may not show up with this thing, simply state that I choose. And one of the reasons I say that, if you notice Aquarius, right, is the zodiac sign of the star card. Aquarius is a zodiac sign, man, you guys, you are the seer of seers. You see things as real and as always better than the rest of the world can see it, and it's so real to you. You turn around sometimes, you go, you're not seeing that. You're like, you can't see that, and other people are like, nope, sure can't. Whereas it's very real to you, because that's, you choose, right? You choose, and so it is. Aho, all of that kind of thing. Again, it might seem like I'm talking a little bit in circles, but when you get down to this, right? When you get to the metaphysical correspondences, right? Okay, then we're talking about the star card. Well, it's the 17th card in the major arcana, right? So when you put 1 plus 7, now you're at number 8. And what is that? It's infinity. It is the manifestation number. It is, and I'm started a movement, in case you don't know. I'm I'm hoping to turn the word, when people are like, manifest this, and how do you manifest this? I really hope to turn it into, how do I choose this and how do I choose that? Because that's really what it comes down to. How can you possibly manifest what you are not truly sure that you believe that you can get, or that you deserve, or any of those things? Now, I hope that's helpful. Where I'm going with this is, let's say that you are taking a look at today, this is your pick a card love reading for today, right? You came here and you're like, okay, I wanted to pull a daily tarot card about love. There you have it. It's the same thing. What are you choosing? What do you truly choose? If it's all about the looks and they've got to be a certain height and a certain um, and a certain this and a certain that and a certain income, there's no problem with that. But you got to choose it. You can't just hope for it, right? Let's say that you've come here and you are thinking about you're like, oh, I want my pick a card relationship reading for today. That's what I'm looking at, as relationship. Well, what kind? With your kids, with your spouse, with yourself, with your coworkers, with your neighbors, with your friends, with your fur babies. What is that all about? What's interesting to me is, so when I get to the part about relationships, in my head, Spirit has flipped the script. And so if you're here, for your pick a card relationship reading, I'm really drawn to come to Polar Bear for you. And the reason that I do that is the way the spirit animals taught me to work with them is, a spirit animal means one thing, a totem animal means another thing, and a power animal means another thing. And I keep seeing a push-pull, a push-pull, a push-pull. And what that means, as I'm seeing it, is for you to bounce between being like you as a polar bear, as a spirit support for someone else that needs that strength, and they need that deep insight that only bears get, that kind of thing. But also for you to work with bear energy and medicine, and in particular polar bear medicine and energy. Wow. Because there's something more galactic that you've been drawn to. Like I feel like my heart is lifting out of my chest, and I'm very, very drawn back to this card and the 7 stars around her, which are the 7 stars of Pleiades, right? And so maybe you're doing a time where you're thinking about, well, am I Arcturian? Am I Pleiadian? Am I this? Am I that? Or you're just, maybe aliens are your thing. But there's something, again, if you're here for your tarot card reading for your relationship today, no matter what relationship it is, that is where you're at. It's all about higher thinking, higher dimensions. Now, going back to, if you're here for your pick a card reading about love, and relationships are different or can be different than love. You might have to have a relationship with someone you work with or somebody that's in your sphere that you don't love. I mean, okay, if you take away the we're all supposed to love everybody, right? Okay, you get what I'm saying. But when you're talking about love, now you're talking about, for a fact you love this person, this fur baby, this part of yourself, this part of your career, or something, something about that, but it's something regarding love. I am very drawn to hope, but I'm seeing, if you're here for your love tarot reading, between the star card and the polar bear, what I'm feeling like is that you're being encroached on, right? Like how the world is encroaching on polar bear habitat, and I won't go into all of that craziness because then we'll all be angry and we'll all be crying. But I just feel like you're being encroached on in whatever way that means for you, in whatever love that you wanted to find out about. And encroaching means, so like the polar bear's habitat is, their natural habitat is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And they're suffering because of that. Somewhere inside of you is being pushed back and held down and pushed back. And that inside of you, that hope that you would normally have, is getting smaller and smaller and more diminutive. It's losing its brilliance. Don't do that. I will tell you that you could really do good by yourself if you would work with bear, in particular polar bear, because now you're talking about all solid white animals are about downloading divine energy and really, really being in connection and relationship and harmony with divine energy. And that gives you a strength and a power that in your human mind you don't know or think that you have because of your human experience, right? But you've got to push back. I mean, if bears, polar bears in particular, if they knew how to stand up to the factions that are encroaching on their natural habitat, you can bet they would take them down. Oh yes, they would. I don't know if you've ever seen a bear. It is terrifying. It is terrifying. They're gigantic. Polar bears can be, when they stand up, they can be 9 feet tall. They're enormous, and thought to be the most ferocious of all bears. They're no joke. And so I'm not suggesting that you go out and you do anything physical to anybody. What I am suggesting is it's time for you to stand up on your 2 hind legs and push back, right? Now, let's say that you are here for your pick a card career reading. So that's interesting because I'm not drawn so much to the tarot card as I am to polar bear as a spirit totem and power animal. And when you look at the spirit animal meanings for polar bear, when I cock my head like this, you guys, I'm trying to hear what I'm hearing or feel or see what I'm seeing from the the spirit guides. It's time for you to get really quiet. And what that means, but only for a short time. When I see this in my psychic mind, it's short time. And what that means is there's something going on with your career. You've got to make a decision. And it's actually a pretty big decision. And you are literally in the dark. I'm seeing a polar bear in true hibernation, which most bears do not really hibernate. They go into a thing like hummingbirds do. They go into a thing called torpor, where their heart rate slows down and their blood pressure and everything, and they can look like they're dead, but they're not. They are just, everything slows down enough to get them through the time that they need to, where they can get back up and sustain their system, so on and so forth. I feel like you're, though, really in a true hibernation. And that is always symbolized with the deep introspection, some serious truth with yourself about what you really want for your career. And I keep hearing the word career over and over and over again. And what that means is no matter what you're doing, it's also time for you to think of it as your vocation in life, your career. This is what I've dedicated my life to. Up till now, you may have only been doing a job. You may have just been doing, a trade, your services for money to sustain, the mortgage, the rent, the food, the whatever. That's just not good enough for you. That's it. That's the word. It's not good enough for you anymore. And all I can see in my head is that polar bear with the light just starting and going and going and going until eventually I couldn't see the polar bear. The polar bear had just gone poosh and just become pure light. So I hope that's helpful. Now, if you're here for your pick a card about health, okay, pick a card health reading for today. You're going to hear me say this a million times. I am not a medical professional of any kind, and I mean it, of any kind. I am not diagnosing. I am not dispensing any kind of medical advice or opinion. I'm giving you a purely psychic, metaphysical tarot reading that is for edutainment purposes only. So, having said that, let me say this. I want to laugh because I just want to be like, F yeah, you go. I am so filled with this, like at the end of the movie when someone succeeds and they just, man, they succeed beyond their own wildest expectations and everybody else's expectations. I just, whatever help, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, whatever it is, spiritual, there's something where this December, you're going to, right around the middle of the month is what I'm hearing, you're going to have a breakthrough that's like, I can't say that word on air, blah, 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 yeah. And you just like, that's it, you do it. And all of a sudden, you're filled with this strength that you just haven't felt in a really, really long time. And again, I'm feeling that strength as physical, emotional, and mental. So I hope that's helpful to you. I really hope that's helpful to you. One of the things that you can do for yourself is to really take a look in this article and take a look at polar bear as a power animal and see how you can work with that energy to really, really step into that, strengthen that power more. And then the other thing is, you got to remember that polar bears are mammals. So that is a very earth-based, mammals are very, and there are a few mammals in the oceans, right? But primarily mammals are land-based, which gives them the earth element, which is all about grounding. And it is about once you've planted something, make sure that that grows strong and tall and complete and whole. And that's what it's about for you. Like, I feel like you've already put down your roots, but now all of a sudden, you're going to be like Jack's Beanstalk, man. You're going to be like, and the next thing you know, you're outer limits. So good for you. Congrats. Okay, and then so last but not least, our pick a card money reading, our money tarot reading for today. Okay, now I'm drawn back over to the star, the traditional meanings of the star card. And I'm running my cursor over this. I'm running my cursor over this. I just can't stop being drawn to the word healing. I just can't stop being drawn to that. And so when you take a look, I just want to kind of show you guys what, okay. So when you take a look at this maiden that's in this particular card, she really can be considered the Earth Mother, right? Almost like Aquarius, the waters of life. That you can read the whole kind of Megillah on the site, right? But it's the waters of life, and so when you, God, I just can't stop. Look, I want to go back up here again. I want to show you guys something. So if you're into intuitive tarot, right? Maybe you don't read tarot, you don't want to read tarot, you don't care anything about, developing your own psychic abilities or whatever. Or maybe you just read for yourself or whatever. Intuitive tarot is what I teach. It's what I preach, and it's what I do. I cannot stop looking at the water. The water is moving for me in my mind. And you know, these lands are just as fertile as they can be, right? Because the waters of life are flowing on them. But the waters of life are like, they've got resurrection powers. And so let's say that your money, your finances are kaput, and you're like, I just don't even know what I'm going to do, because I got to tell you guys something. I got to believe the sale of wigs went out of this, just up and out of the stratosphere over the last 2 years with this coronavirus thing and the job situation and the work situation with people pulling their hair out because of finance, right? But that's not for you anymore. It's just not. She's in a meditative state. Her head is bowed. She's, she may be looking at something in the water. Her eyes may be totally closed. But if you notice, she's naked and she's just exposed to the world with no shame, no guilt, no nothing. It's almost like she's just stripped everything bare and gone, all right, we may have to rebuild this from the ground up, but we can do this. And I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to grab some of the waters of life, and I'm going to sprinkle that stuff on my finances, on my bank account, on how I make my money, how I want to make my money, all of that kind of thing. And if you've got something broken with your relationship with the energy of money, because money's not real. It's not real. It's an energy. What do you think cryptocurrency is? It's an energy. It's just a string of query numbers, but it's changing the world, and it's making the world a more even playing field when it comes to money, or the notion of money, or what people think of as money. That's why, don't get me started on why there are factions all around the world warring as hard as they can. It's too late. The people have taken it back into their own hands. La 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 la. So if you're here again about your money, and this could even extend to your career, it's time to heal it. It's time to heal it. I don't know what that's going to mean for you, but I can tell you that the first thing to know about that is, if you'll work with bear, polar bear in particular, as a spirit animal, that radiance, that divine energy, that divine radiance will shine on you. It will show you what you've got to heal. It will show you the way to heal it. And then it'll walk you through the darkness of healing it. So, woo, I hope that was helpful. I hope that was helpful, you guys. Pick up your copy of the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can subscribe to my newsletter down there. You can join me on my forums, Gathering of Mystics. Oh my gosh. wildpackwisdom.com/forums, wildpackwisdom.com/forums. I have made a pledge to actually hang out there, and actually hang out there. And, I answer questions. I don't do free readings, so please don't come there wanting a free reading. I want to do that, but I can't for everybody. I just can't. But anything I can do, or my moderators can do, we're so happy to do it. Our community there is insanely fabulous. Don't forget, if you are shopping for Christmas and you are wanting some beautiful spirit animal kinds of things to give to your family and friends, here they are. You can get them on my Etsy store. The link is down below. And I, as always, say, and I'll see you tomorrow, by the way, and for those of you that are looking for my live reading, I'm actually having cataract surgery tomorrow on Tuesday, but I will do the live reading on Thursday. I think I'll probably be good to go by then, so I'll catch you guys on the live on Thursday. I'll put up a graphic that states that. In any event, I love you all. Thank you so much. And as always, do good for animals, including yourself, and stay wild.